Well, poverty and racism don't just exist by themselves, they're created. So some people uh, are damaged by them, and some people benefit from them. So that's the first thing. But I think one of the exercises that I would encourage people to do is to try to ask questions about what you see on the news. So on the news, we've seen a lot of children in prisons, and what comes to my mind immediately is repetition. I hope that when black people see the people fleeing countries of terror and violence caused by our government, that they'll remember people left the South not just to improve themselves. They were fleeing terrorism, fleeing lynching and beating and racism. So these dots have to be connected. The problem is, how do we allow a small fraction of people to benefit greatly from capitalism and creating poverty? We have to really open up our eyes and make the connections that we see, not only with each other, but also with historical precedents, so that we have a real understanding. It shouldn't be a surprise that these man-made deliberate disasters, man-made deliberate exploitations are going on and continue to go on. The question is, do we think we have to lose? That's really the question.
Okay.
Do you think that your grandchildren have to be in a worse shape than we are today? Because that's the way things are going. Why does the United States, that always used to bother me in school, why do they get to determine everything in the Western Hemisphere? You know, I mean, I know they're white people, but I mean, why other than that? So what I would say is, if the right wing and racist power structure dedicated to capitalism and maximizing profits, if they can plan and address the structural conditions of society, when we come together, when we unite our forces, we can do that. We've done it before, and we can do it again.
What also became clear to me is that what's missing in terms of folks that look like me and other folks is that since the slave trades and the colonial periods and all this stuff, we've not been allowed to do what we have been doing for 200, 300,000 years, and that's determine how communities exist, how we take care of ourselves, where water comes from, what we eat, how we shelter ourselves, and none of that. So this is really a process of decolonization, if you will. We're interested in not just doctors and nurses, but all the things that contribute to wellness. We're interested in what makes community, whether it's micro, hyperlocal, or whether it's, you know, the next block, the next community, the next city, the state, the nation, the planet, whatever the case may be. We don't want to be pigeonholed anymore. We're real serious. I want to talk about funds. We got funds to deal with endless war. You know, I'm in my 70s now. I remember the poster about, you know, having the Pentagon do a bake sale for a fighter jet, right? You know, so yeah, repetition, ain't nothing changed. And the story sort of goes like this. Oh, I was building a house, or we had Black Wall Street, or we had whatever, right? And you can't do that, right? You can't build a house nicer than me. You know, you can't have a horse better than mine. Your crops can't be better than mine. But that's some stuff we really also need to come to terms with. And how folks want to uphold that. And not most of us want to uphold that, but that right wing or that edge to that want to uphold this notion of race and white supremacy, that's one of the things we don't want to talk about and come to terms with. You don't want to own up to it because then that undermines your notion of superiority.